Venom. This toxic liquid is employed across the animal kingdom by countless species for hunting prey and for vital defense. While we generally associate venom with our deadly venomous snakes, or perhaps our painfully stinging wasps, there's another group of venomous animals that flies under the radar. Do you have an idea of what it could be yet? Well, it's caterpillars. That's right, some of the most painfully stinging insects on Earth are our venomous caterpillars. Many different species utilize venom to defend themselves against predators, and these stings can be excruciating. My journey today brings me deep into the wilderness of Central Florida, where, through chance, I happened upon a very venomous caterpillar. Time to pony up and add a brand new sting to my collection. Why? Because that's what I'm all about. My name is Jack, and I've dedicated my entire life to traveling all over the globe to find the strangest and most dangerous animals alive. I'm willing to get in close where others wouldn't dare in order to uncover and share the truth about even our deadliest and most misunderstood creatures. I am once again in the ring, going up against a powerful sting. How bad will this one be? Let's find out. Well, my friends, you ask, I answer. We found something a little bit interesting today. We found something that I passively search for just about everywhere I go to give you folks something that you always so desperately want. Today, while hiking through this lovely little forest for inverts, maybe some snakes on a nice overcast morning, I encountered something that I was quite surprised to see. That's right, friends. I encountered a venomous, stinging caterpillar. Now, you're already jumping. You're already chomping at the bit. You're already on the edge of your seat, right? Jack, please tell us you filmed a brand new sting video. Please, please, please. Well, friends, I'm happy to say I did. And you're about to watch it right now. So without any further ado, let's cut to an amazing, fantastic capture and sting video right now. Dude, get over here, get over here. Whoa, look at this. Oh my gosh. This right here looks like a Florida buck moth. Now, this beautiful moth here is capable of a horrendous sting. I've never ever seen this species in the wild before. I was just kind of looking at these, you see these little fresh kind of oak trees popping up in this primarily piney forest. I was like, hey, this might be a cool place to maybe look for some saturnid moths. And sure enough, literally one of the first trees I checked, there's this massive buck moth caterpillar. Now, these buck moths are in the genus Hemiluca, and additionally are in the subfamily Hemoleucinae. Now you may be going, who cares? What does that mean? Well, my friends, the assassin caterpillar, the world's most venomous, potentially even deadly caterpillar species, belongs to that very same subfamily. That means that a sting from one of these caterpillars could be excruciating, could cause systemic effects, and could just be overall a nasty way to spend your day. So of course, my friends, that's what I'm gonna do today. Because literally with these stinging caterpillars, it is on sight. Whenever I find one, you folks are gonna get a lovely treat in seeing what all happens when this incredibly venomous, maybe one of the more venomous caterpillars in Florida, maybe the most venomous caterpillar here in Florida, what happens when one of these bad boys gives you a powerful and potent sting. So I'm going to carefully get this thing off of this branch, and then we will get right in to finding out just how nasty this sting truly is. The buck moth caterpillar is among one of the more painfully stinging venomous caterpillars in the United States. These caterpillars can grow quite large and have a lot of surface area covered in stinging spines. It does not take much pressure at all to be injected with a fair bit of venom, and even brushing against the spines can result in a painful sting and rash. Now, these caterpillars feed on oak trees, so it's important to avoid brushing against these trees during the warmer months when these caterpillars are active in the eastern United States. Although not as toxic as the asp, also known as the puss moth caterpillar, these insects have an equally painful and irritating sting.
Well, I had to run over to the car, grab some EpiPens, just in case. You know old Jack isn't too sensitive to these venoms, but you never know. This is a brand new sting test for me, folks. You're getting to see the true effects of this caterpillar sting, same time as me. I've got a little stick here. Hopefully I can convince him to crawl onto. I'm not gonna go grabbing this guy up because, friends, those hairs all over this caterpillar's body can inject potent and virile venom. You see all those little branching structures. This is a weapon, a walking, munching, hypodermic needle of caterpillar venom. Now, each and every one of these spines there at the end is connected to a little mechanism that can just pump that venom straight out into my bloodstream. This truly is going to be an interesting test. I haven't actually taken a caterpillar sting in quite some time. The last one I took, at least for the channel, was the southern flannel moth, aka the asp. This will be my first saturnid moth sting on the channel. So as adults, these are beautiful silk moths relatives to like Luna moths, Cecropia moths, things like that. But as caterpillars, they're quite vulnerable to predation, which is why these beautiful ones here have adapted to carrying their own anti-predation defense mechanism with those venomous spines. Wow. Now, like I said, friends, these guys are close relative to the deadliest caterpillars in the world. And looking right now at all those spines, this is an intimidating looking caterpillar. Now, of course, many caterpillars have spines. Some have little hairs, things like that. Some look fluffy. Some look rather formidable and spiky like this. Not all fluffy caterpillars sting, but just about every single venomous caterpillar does have some kind of hair or spines coming off of it. So if you're not sure exactly what kind of caterpillar you're dealing with, just leave it alone. But my friends, what I'm expecting here, because each and every one of those little spines can inject venom, what that's gonna look like on my arm, there's gonna be kind of welty rashes. Every single point where a spine touches my skin is gonna inject a little bit of venom. So it's gonna be this kind of, strange, chaotic, it's not gonna be a uniform kind of sting that evolves out from an epicenter like a wasp sting or something like that. This is gonna be a big, messy, nasty red patch of irritation. But enough about that. Let's see just how nasty the sting of the Florida buck moth really is. So come take a look at this, folks. So we've got our lovely buck moth here. You can see all those spines. Here we go. Oh, ow. Stinging me a little bit. Ooh, that was a good one. See how he's kind of thrashing a little bit? He's realizing that he's feeling a little bit threatened. Let's see, let's get him. Oh man, it's starting to burn now. Oh, ooh, ow. You can see I'm already getting crazy red right there. Oh, ah, wow, folks. Ooh, that's really starting to ramp up. At first I was going, that's a little anticlimactic. Oh. Whoo! Wow, folks, that's got to be one of the more impressive stings I've had in a minute. Man, look at how red my arm already is. Now, I coated my arm here with this caterpillar. I stung all through here. I stung up here a little bit. Now, initially, that pain wasn't too crazy, but it is ramping up, and it's like I've taken 5, maybe 6 yellow jacket stings right in the same sort of spot. Whew. Now, it'll be interesting to see with my asp caterpillar sting. The venom is so potent that once it gets into your lymphatic system, you feel a lot of discomfort in that lymph node that's underneath your arm. And that's usually, for me at least, a good gauge as to how toxic the venom is. Species like Pogonomyrmex genus harvester ants also cause that discomfort underneath the arm. Wow. So folks, this is basically like, oh, take a look here now. You could see there's that raised kind of speckled rash I was talking about. You see where it's lighter inside that red? You can see there's kind of little dots you can isolate, kind of round sort of concentrations of inflammation. That is what I was talking about with each of those spines, each making its own individual sort of envenomation site. And so this is good. Look, it's just ballooning up. It's just swelling and swelling and swelling. It's raising and raising and raising. A little bit of it up here, but it's real easy to see right in there. And it's hot, folks. It is a painful, stinging, burning sensation. Not really electric like, some other stings might feel. This is just kind of like almost an acidic kind of feeling in a burn. I don't know how to explain it. If you've ever gotten battery acid or something like that on your hands, you start to feel that kind of corrosive feeling. It's very similar to that, but much worse, because it's like that kind of coupled with a wasp sting. An amazing deterrent. If I was a predator trying to eat this thing, if this had happened on my mouth or anywhere on my face, this would be very easy to avoid in the future. I would never go after eating one of these caterpillars again. Yikes. I'm actually really impressed by this sting, folks. It's incredibly painful and it's lasting. A lot of wasp stings, yellow jackets, it hurts really bad at first, but after maybe 30 seconds, it starts to kind of come down. This is staying really consistent. Anytime I even kind of move or flex my arms, you can see again, come take a look. When I kind of turn my arm, you see how it's like, it's tight there and it kind of changes color. Might be a little hard to pick up on the camera. But look at that. You see how white it gets when I turn my arm? Oh my gosh. It's like just tight. It's like completely seized up this entire part of my arm here. And that's all just my body reacting to the venom. Youch, friends. Youch. That is impressive. An animal that's just herbivorous in nature, that's fairly delicate, that's fairly vulnerable in its environment, has created an amazing and powerful, potent tool to defend itself. That is impressive. Easily one of my worst stings I've had here in the United States, and probably one of the worst stings, if you really get a whole lot of it, that you could experience from a caterpillar, maybe even across the world. This is gnarly. Wow. I mean, look at how raised it is now, folks. Look at that whole patch. All those little gaps that were in between are now pretty much gone. Look at that. That's so dramatic. All that inflammation, all that craziness. Look at that. Now, of course, this caterpillar was just doing what it's designed to do. You see, he's still feeling a little bit agitated. So when he kind of felt my arm hairs kind of touch his head, he's still kind of thrashing around. That's a great way to make sure that this caterpillar is able to kind of ram those kind of fork spiked structures into a predator that's getting too close. But this was kind of a little bit of a surprise today. I wasn't expecting to have a little impromptu sting test video. I didn't even have my little tweezers with me today, but we made do. Luckily, can't really grab a caterpillar safely with tweezers. We don't want to hurt this guy. We just want to show you guys just how insane and dramatic this sort of sting can be. But absolutely fantastic little invertebrate here. And like I said, these are pretty common in these kind of oaky forests. They eat oak trees. And if you see a caterpillar that looks anything like this, I'd suggest don't pick the sucker up, because look at what he has done to my arm there. Hoo-wee! Ouch! Look at him. He's just kind of looking right at me. He's going, oh, that was my fault, Mr. Jack. That was my fault. Yes, it was, dude. Yes, it was. But really, folks, we all know it's Jack's fault. I made this little guy sting me on purpose to show you guys, yes, it hurts. Yeah, it's really nasty. Yeah, it's not that fun. But you don't really need to be worried about these little guys because they're just stinging in defense. So just watch where you're going. If you're just barreling through these oak trees, you might clip one on your ear or something, and that would not be any fun. But for the most part, these are not something to worry about. Look at my arm now. Look at that. That's ridiculous. You see how tight it is when I turn my arm? See how it's like it all kind of just lights up. Wow, that's fascinating. Still really painful. I would say not as painful as when it initially started, but it's not fading nearly as fast as like a paper wasp sting or a yellow jacket or a bee or something like that. Woof. It'll be really interesting to see kind of how the effects of this sting sort of goes. Like I said, I'm wondering if I'm going to get any pain in my lymph nodes, if I'm going to have any kind of other systemic effects, or if it's simply just going to be on my arm here where it swells up for a little bit and then goes away. Because again, this venom purely is defensive venom, unlike a wasp or an ant, where the venom is also used to procure food. The only thing this is designed for is to hurt a predator in order to deter them from eating it. So it's just kind of you can kind of go either way. It could last for a minute or it could last for days. You just don't always know. So I'll keep you folks posted. Keep an eye out for those updates. Keep watching because you don't want to miss anything regarding this really unique and interesting test.
Yikes! Looks pretty bad, huh? Luckily, these caterpillars can only sting through physical contact. They don't preemptively sting for any reason, so it's fairly easy to completely avoid these stings altogether. This is a great example of defense-only type venom. These caterpillars have evolved venomous spines purely as a way to prevent predation, and don't use their venom for really any other reason. This means its main purpose is to cause pain and irritation. Unless you have an allergic reaction to the venom, the full effect of symptoms, even in a bad envenomation, should be gone within a week.
Okay, folks, here we are, like maybe 5 minutes after the sting. Look at that. Look at the inflammation on that. Like I said, you could kind of see where it's like tight. Like when I move my arm, it kind of gets lighter. You see how that happens? Golly, that's so weird. I've never had a sting do that. Obviously, still a little bit painful, but it's nothing too unmanageable. Really, really interesting. All right, folks. Cameraman Nick was feeling a little bit left out. So, what do? We gave him a little brush by the lovely buck moth. As you can see, he's got a few little welts. This is going to be a little more typical of somebody that's just kind of brushing past one of these caterpillars. Not like your old friend Jack, who was slamming that sucker down on him for freaking 2 minutes straight. But this is going to be more what this looks like. And how does this feel, Nick? Does it feel nice? Does it feel comfortable?
It hurts.
It hurts.
It's not like it's hurting me, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, it burns. I don't know. It's almost like if you touch the stove or something for a second, it burns for a while, but by the end of the day, you're kind of you forgot about it. It's sore, it's tender.
Sure.
But yeah, not fun. Not fun. I don't think I'll go touching them again. That's for sure.
All right, let's take one last look at that. Yep, there we go. Little bit of irritation, little bit of inflammation there, kind of a few little bumps where you can see one of those larger spines probably went and injected venom, but nothing too bad. It's not life-altering, is it?
No.
All right, folks, check this out. We're about 10 minutes in. Real discolored, real inflamed. Those two kind of main areas where I got stung. This is tight. You can see that. Oh, I'm like a magic marker. A magic marker. Very interesting reaction. It's really pretty warm. Phone's starting to get a little overheated, so we're just gonna chill in the car in some AC for a second. As you can see, I've got that nice, I don't know what it is, some combination of German and Irish where it just looks like I've just gotten out of the shower if I step outside. So I'm gonna hopefully cool down, give my body a little bit of a break, and see what this looks like in a few hours, or maybe at the end of today, whatever seems like it'd be more interesting to update with. But very incredible, very incredible. I don't feel any systemic effects, no pain in my lymph nodes, so it looks like it's gonna be just localized to my arm, which is all right. That's nice. I kind of prefer if something just kind of stays right in that area. So it'll be interesting to see, but I don't foresee it getting too much worse. So if you're gonna stop the video here, thanks for tuning in to see me torture myself just a little bit. But if you're curious to see what might happen in the hours or potentially days following, stick around and I'll be sure to let you know. Folks, check this out. Look at what that sting is doing to my skin. Right over the inflammation, there's like this weird yellowish kind of rash or something that's developed on top, like I guess where all of the individual spines went in. But that is really, really weird. Like, that is such a dramatic reaction, and that's kind of shown up. It's maybe an hour-ish after the sting, maybe a little more. But wow, that's super, super, super weird.
Enjoying this video? Check out this video here, where I stung myself with our most venomous native caterpillar, the asp. Click the video card here or check the video description below for a link to this video. I'll see you there.
Well, folks, check this out. We are probably, I don't know, 6-7 hours. Look at my arm. Most of that kind of initial inflammation is gone, but this is still pretty tender, pretty painful. But have a go at that. Look at all those weird kind of micro blisters. Now, I'm thinking it's likely that each of those little micro blister type things is where an actual spine went through and injected venom. How bizarre is that? I've never seen anything like that in my stings. It'll be interesting to see what this kind of does tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to update again today, but that is just too cool not to show you guys. Look at that. Just kind of like a little field of these kind of strange little micro blisters. Really, really neat stuff.
Okay, so here's the full extent of the healing process. You can see here that the skin got quite irritated and was decently itchy in the days following all the inflammation. Many of the individual spots where the stinging hairs went into my skin had raised bumps which scabbed over if they were large enough. By day 6, though, it was almost entirely healed and gone, with minimal indication anything had even occurred there. All in all, this sting was most painful and uncomfortable in the 30 minutes during and after the actual sting, with the rest of the effects being fairly minimal. Although it didn't last more than an hour, the pain itself was almost shockingly bad, and easily one of the more painful insect stings I've endured here in the United States.
Well, my friends, by this point, you've seen the full effect of the Florida buck moth caterpillar sting. Hope it was interesting. I really enjoyed testing this. Like I said, this was the first time I got to experience the painful sting of this lovely, lovely caterpillar. And it was really special being able to encounter one out here in Florida when I really wasn't necessarily looking for it. So my friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you will continue to support the channel. I'm actually making content on everything else now. That's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. You can search me up. You can find me there. You can enjoy all sorts of short form content on there from me. So if you're on any of those other platforms, find me, folks. Let's hang out. Other than that, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a good rest of your day. And I hope to see you next time with the next episode of Jack's World of Wildlife. But until then, please take care of yourselves. Don't go running into any oak forest anytime soon. And tune in next time for the next episode of Jack's World of Wildlife.
You